Do you know, sometimes the silence in this house is so dense that it feels like you can touch it with your hands. It feels like a physical presence, a guest who never leaves and sits at the table with me for every meal. My name is Arthur. I am 82 years old. And if I stop to talk to you today, it isn't because I have an abundance of wisdom. Wisdom is often the consolation prize we receive when we can no longer change anything. I am talking to you because I have an abundance of regrets, and regrets, if kept too long in the chest, eventually poison the soul from within. I look at this living room now as the afternoon light begins to fade. I see the shelves filled with gold-spined books that I haven't opened in years. The paintings by pretentious artists that I bought only to impress people I no longer even remember. I realize, with a clarity that burns, that I spent my entire life building a mausoleum, not a home. A mausoleum is beautiful on the outside, but it is cold on the inside. It is designed to be admired by strangers, not to be inhabited by loved ones. My daughter, Elena, she is the center of my story. Or rather, I should say she is the person-shaped void I left in the center of her own story. She is the living proof of my invisible failures, the ones that don't appear in business magazines. If you are 30, 40, or 50 years old right now, if you believe you are doing the right thing by sacrificing yourself for your family, by working until your eyes bleed, until coffee is your only fuel and spreadsheets are your only prayer, please look at me. Stop for a second. Listen to what time is trying to tell you through my weary voice before it decides to stop talking to you and takes everything away in one single blow. When Elena was born, the world stopped for a moment. I can still close my eyes and evoke the smell of her head. It was a strange mixture of powder, milk, and pure hope. I held her in my arms, so fragile that I felt the beat of my own heart could break her. And I felt absolute terror. It wasn't the fear of dropping her. It was the fear of not being enough to protect her from the harshness of the world. At that time, my bank account was nearly zero, and my small business was a risky bet that kept me awake at night. I didn't sleep because of ambition, but I convinced myself I didn't sleep because of love. That afternoon, in front of her crib, while she slept with the peace of someone who knows no ambition, I made a promise that I believed was noble. She will have what I didn't. She will never know lack. She will never be cold. She will never feel that she is missing something. That was the first brick in the wall, a brick of goodwill, but a brick nonetheless. I began to work from sunrise to sunset, and then from moon to moon. I repeated that phrase like a religious mantra every time exhaustion closed my eyes in the office. I'm doing it for her. That phrase is the sweetest poison that exists. It is the perfect alibi for selfishness disguised as duty. It is the mask we use to hide our personal ambition behind the well-being of others. With that excuse, I missed her first steps. I remember perfectly receiving a call in a gray hotel in Chicago. My wife told me about it excitedly, almost screaming with joy into the receiver, and I, while looking at a sales graph that was dropping dangerously, said to her, "That's great, honey. Record it so I can see it later." But later never came. With that same excuse, I missed her first clear word. I was in a lawyer's office closing an export contract that would make us rich, toasting with expensive whiskey while my daughter pronounced her first daddy in front of an empty chair in the dining room. I would come home at 11 at night with my back broken and the taste of stale coffee stuck to my tongue. I would walk into her dark room, lit only by a star-shaped nightlight, and watch her sleep. I felt like a winner, a middle-class hero, because I had bought her the most expensive oak crib on the market. But the crib was cold, and she didn't need imported oak or silk sheets. She needed the warmth of my hand on her back to scare away the monsters hiding in the closet. I convinced myself that fatherhood was a long-distance race, and that when I reached the finish line with the trophy of wealth, she would be there waiting for me. But life doesn't wait for you at the finish line. Life happens in the miles you decide not to run with them. There was a sign that should have changed everything. Elena was about 6 years old. One Tuesday afternoon, she walked into my office, a place that for her was sacred and forbidden, and brought me a crumpled piece of paper. She had drawn our house. There was her mother, there was the dog, there was a giant yellow sun, and in a corner, very far from the house, there was a tiny black stick figure, almost invisible. I asked her, "Sweetie, who is that?" She looked at me with a crushing logic that only children have. She said, "That's you, Daddy. You're at the office. That's why you're far away, because that's where you live." I laughed. I told my colleagues about it as a funny anecdote. I didn't realize that my daughter was handing me a map of her loneliness. She was telling me that to her, I was already a stranger, that I was not part of the landscape of her daily happiness. Instead of breaking down in tears and throwing my briefcase in the trash, I gave her a quick kiss and went back to the phone. That day I died a little as a father, and I didn't even feel the wound. I was too anesthetized by success. As the business grew, my presence at home became more ghostly. I became a shadow that paid the bills. I remember one Christmas when I gave her the biggest dollhouse that existed. It was an exact replica of a Victorian mansion. Elena looked at it, thanked me with a courtesy that chilled my blood, and then asked, "Are you going to play with me for 5 minutes?" I told her I had to take a call from London. I watched her shoulders slump. That small defeat of her spirit was my great commercial victory that year. Was it worth it? Today, looking at these empty walls, I assure you it was not. The years passed like an express train that makes no stops. Suddenly, Elena no longer had drawings. She had calculus exams. She no longer had toys. She had boyfriends and secrets. And I was still there, being the great provider. I paid for the best schools, the best vacations. But I was always on a different flight, or I arrived 2 days later because something had come up. I missed her piano recitals, her volleyball games, her existential crises of adolescence. I thought love was deposited in a bank account, but love is only deposited in shared time. One day she turned 16. I remember her coming down the stairs dressed for her prom. She was beautiful. She looked like an angel. I tried to say something, a compliment, a joke, something to break the ice of years, but I realized I didn't know how to talk to her. I didn't know what music she liked. I didn't know who her friends were. I didn't know what made her cry at night. The silence between us had become a bulletproof glass barrier. We could see each other, but we couldn't feel each other. She gave me a polite smile, the same one you give a distant uncle you see once a year. And there, I understood the tragedy. I had given her everything material, but I had denied her my soul, and the soul is not recovered with a cashier's check. When Elena went to college, I realized I barely had any real memories with her. I had photos, yes, photos of expensive vacations where I appeared with the phone pressed to my ear while she looked at the sea. But I didn't have the memory of a deep conversation under the rain, or a Sunday afternoon doing nothing but existing together. She left home without looking back, not out of hatred, but out of a lack of habit of having me around. For her, my absence was the norm, and that, my dear friend, is the most absolute failure a man can harvest. The years passed, and I became a rich and lonely man. My wife, who had endured my absences with the patience of a saint, also ended up drifting away emotionally. We lived in the same mansion, but on different planets. We ate in silence, surrounded by silver cutlery and leaden regrets. She focused on Elena, and I focused on my quarterly balance sheets. When she passed away 10 years ago, I was left in this house with the echo of my decisions. Money could not buy me a single minute of her forgiveness, nor could it fill the void on the left side of the bed. My daughter looks at him with a devotion and a complicity she never had for me. It's not her fault. She is simply returning the investment of love and presence she did receive from him. She sees in him what she always looked for in me and never found, a father who is there when the daylight fades. My grandchildren don't really know who I am. To them, I am the grandfather who brings expensive gifts, but I am not the grandfather who knows how to tell stories. I try to get close to them, but I don't have the practice. I don't know how to get down to floor level and play. My hands are too accustomed to signing documents and too unaccustomed to building sandcastles. Every time I return from their house to this empty living room, the silence mocks me. It reminds me that I traded gold for dust, and that dust is all I have left. Now, Elena is a mother. She has a life of her own, far from here, in a small town where life is slower. She visits me, yes. She fulfills her duty as a daughter. She is a wonderful, kind, responsible woman. But when she hugs me, I feel she is hugging an old piece of furniture. I am an object that brings back memories of a lonely childhood, not a refuge of flesh and blood. I am a guest in her life, someone to be looked after out of obligation, not someone to be consulted out of love. A few months ago, I went to her house. I saw my son-in-law, David. He is a man who earns a fraction of what I earned at his age. His car is old, it has a dent in the right door, and his house is small, the kind where the dining room and the kitchen are the same thing. But I saw him come home from work at 5 in the afternoon. I saw him drop his keys at the entrance and roll on the floor with my grandchildren. I saw him listen to my eldest grandson tell an endless, nonsensical story about a dinosaur for 20 minutes. 20 minutes of pure attention, without looking at the clock, without mobile vibrations in his pocket, without his mind being elsewhere. And I felt an envy that burned my gut. I felt like screaming because that man, with his modest bank account and his clothes on sale, is 1,000,000 times richer than I ever was. He is building a cathedral of memories. I only built a skyscraper of invoices. If you are watching this, if you still have the power to change your schedule, do it now. If you have the chance to cancel that meeting that in 5 years no one will remember to go to your son's soccer game, do it without hesitation. If you can get home before your children close their eyes to sleep, run. Don't ask for permission. Don't wait for the next promotion. Don't believe there will be a better moment in the future. The future is a scam that sells us the present at a bargain price. Don't work hoping to be remembered in the office with a brass plaque. In the office, your chair will be occupied by another body before your obituary dries in the newspaper. In the office, you are a number, a resource, a replaceable part. But in your home, you are unique. Work so that when you are old and sitting in a chair like this, your phone rings not out of moral obligation or duty, but because of someone's desperate need to hear your voice once more. Work so that your children want to be with you, not so they have to be with you. I have spent entire nights thinking about what I would say to my 30-year-old self if I could cross the time tunnel. I wouldn't tell him to be lazy, nor to give up on his dreams. I would tell him, Arthur, success is not the top of the mountain. Success is the people who walk with you while you climb. If you reach the summit alone, you haven't conquered anything. You have only built a very high prison. I would tell him that a crumpled drawing from a 6-year-old girl is worth more than all the shares on the New York Stock Exchange combined. Elena, if you ever see this video, if these words reach your ears when I am no longer here to say them, forgive me. Forgive me for being so present in board meetings and so absent in your fevers, your fears, and your joys. My biggest mistake was thinking my absence had a price I could pay, but absence is not paid for. It is inherited. And to you, who still have time, go home. Turn off this device, stop consuming advice from strangers, and start living with your own. Time is the only resource in the universe that is not renewable. You can earn more money. You can buy another house. You can start another company. But you cannot buy a single second of yesterday. Don't wait until your house is full of things and empty of voices to realize what really matters. Look at me one last time. I am not a model of success. I am a walking warning. Don't wait for the sun to set to value the light. Go right now. Hug your loved ones. Listen to them. Stay in silence with them. Make your presence the most expensive gift you give them. Do not allow the price of your success to be your own absence, because at the end of the road, when the lights go out, the only thing that will warm your soul won't be what you accumulated in the bank, but what you sowed in the hearts of those who call you Father. Elena, my daughter, I am sorry. And to you who listen to me, don't let the same thing happen to you. You still have sand in the hourglass. Use it well.